Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all the interwebs. My name is Ben. Every day on this channel, I show you how to make money in crypto. If you like money in crypto, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want to go deeper into crypto, make sure to check out bitlabacademy.com. Still out of town on a hunting trip. It was a successful hunt. But guys, I'm going to be back in the studio tomorrow, taking off later tonight. But I felt like it was a really important time, as there's a lot of questions about what's going on in crypto right now, for me to address an updated crypto exit strategy for 2021/2022. And I mean early 2022. This is probably my number one most requested video, number one most requested or most asked question is, how do I take profits? What do I do when this bull run is over? If it goes up further and you pull money out, are you going to be disappointed? Things like that. Obviously, we felt like the market was going to top out in the fall. It is almost officially winter here next week, so that's not going to happen, we don't believe, unless it did top out in the fall. If it did top out at the top of November, then we were pretty dead on with our September 28th prediction that we made 2 years ago. By the way, we had only been off by about a month and a week. But the thing is, we're trying to get a feel for what's going on in the market right now. And my honest, still what I'm believing still today is that Bitcoin is going to top out very soon, whether it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, before March for sure. I think January is probably a good target for the absolute top. But what am I doing with all these questions? Like, are we selling crypto right now? Have we sold any crypto? Outside of selling crypto, regularly for expenses here at the office, we don't have to do actually that much. We do pull out crypto. We bought $1 million property that's right next to our new building. Eventually build some corporate offices and stuff like that. So we have pulled some money out, but it's not been ideal. We would have rather left it in. Just sometimes, you do have to cash out, some of your crypto to get a little more liquid. So, we've done that a little bit, but the vast majority, over 90 to 95% of all the crypto we've had over the last 2 years, is still in crypto right now. And so, what are we doing at this point? How sure are we about this market? Well, I told you guys a few weeks ago, I guess it was about last week, so last Saturday night, so 8 days ago, talked about if the price of Bitcoin goes below $40,000, we are going to sell. We're going to sell almost everything, okay, 80%. Now, we won't do it in one shot. We don't want to crash markets or crash coins, so we'll do it in a way that makes sense for us, but in a way that doesn't. We don't ever want to affect or influence the market based on buying or selling any coin, and that's, across the board for us. We really think about those things because we don't ever want our community to feel the loss or feel like, oh, you sold and then you didn't tell us. No, we want to tell you everything we do. We're the most transparent, despite all of the lies, the absolute lies that are out there that do exist. We are 100% transparent with everything that we do at BitBoy Crypto. So we would let you know as we were making those decisions. I sold a lot of altcoins back in May, and I told you guys I was doing it. I made a video literally immediately following that move. It was, on Coinbase, and we capitulated some altcoins, and then prices dropped and we got better values. And so it turned out to be a good move. But we always tell the community what we're thinking and what we're doing. We're all in this together. It's not just us. It's not just you. We're all in this together. So, we want you to know what we're thinking going into this. And if it goes below $40,000, we do believe we are entering into a bear market, and 70K was the top. And we would sell with the idea that it would probably drop to 15 to 20K from there over the next, year maybe. And we would buy back in at the bottom. We're always selling and pulling profits to accumulate more crypto down the road. That's always the goal for us. That's how you turn $100,000 into $1 million. That's how you turn $1 million into 10 million. How you turn 10 million into 100 million. How you turn 100 million into $1 billion. Same process. When you know what the process is, you just got to do it and you got to carry it out. So that's the number we're looking at, $40,000. Specifically right now, with our two green dot formation, on the daily chart on Market Cipher for Bitcoin. Now, if you want to check out Market Cipher or join our FEMAX trading competition, make sure to do that at bitboycrypto.com/deals. But we got two large green dots. to me, unless we see manipulation to the downside, which would be shown by yellow X's on market Cipher, I'm very confident that this 2 green dot formation is going to play into something massive. We're looking at Bitcoin back up almost to $50,000 right now since that green dot popped up. If this green dot formation does not play out and we get a massive dump, then we head back below 40K. Even if we head back to like 42K, I'm going to be very nervous. I'm going to be very, very, very nervous and ready to sell everything if we go below $40,000. That is, in general, what my plan is in regards to watching the price go down. I believe this green dot formation is going to lead to the last leg of this bull run for Bitcoin. And so we have to figure out where that is. I'll tell you this. If we get up to about $73,000, $74,000 and we get another massive downswing, that would be indicative that we're seeing the same thing that we saw in the early spring as Bitcoin ran up and never caught momentum again to a blow off top. If we get rejected like $70,000, even $70,000, if we get rejected there and we fall back down into the 40s, that would be a cue to me that we probably have topped out for Bitcoin. So those are kind of the scenarios that we're looking at right now. And, you know, I think for altcoins, the best thing to do right now is be patient for those and wait to see where Bitcoin goes. Now, if Bitcoin does go to 70,000, gets rejected and falls back down below 65 or below, specifically below 60, I would consider going ahead and pulling profits, because to me, that would be saying like, there's a good chance we're heading back down from here. Now, let's talk about the top side. If Bitcoin does run up to $80,000, we get some retail support, the price booms, we're heading towards 100,000. Once Bitcoin gets to about $90,000, I'm going to start pulling profits. My goal is ultimately $100,000. That's where we're going to pull out the majority of our profits. But around 90,000 is where I will be looking to pull profits. For Ethereum, that number is $8,000. Once it gets around $8,000, that's when we'll start pulling profits. I do believe Ethereum will go to $10,000 or higher, not much higher, but I do believe it'll go to $10,000. So we're looking at that price point, 10,500 to be specific, as a place where we can pull profits, or pull the majority of our profits out of Ethereum. Now, what if we're wrong? What if the price of Bitcoin, what if it's a lengthened cycle and the price of Bitcoin goes up to $300,000 over the summer and the price of Ethereum goes up to $20,000 over the summer? Well, when we say we're selling 80% of our crypto to reaccumulate down the road, you know, the vast majority of what we keep will be in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if we are wrong, we're in a situation where, you know, if we pull out, you know, 80% and the 20% we have remaining 3 or 5 or 10Xs, then you know what? That's still going to be extra money, but you got to be smart. You got to be pulling these profits. You cannot be the kind of person that rides it up and rides it all the way back down. Even if you can get it within 20 to 30% from the top. And when you buy back in, get it 20 to 30% for the bottom, you're going to make massive compounding gains over time. And I know that's what you guys want. I know that's what you guys are after. So that is my take profit plan. That is what I'm looking at. We'll talk more about maybe an altcoin exit strategy, altcoin strategy in a different video, because that's a whole other conversation. Kind of tapped out the time for this one. So you guys drop down below. I want to know what your Bitcoin exit strategy is. Let me know. Be back in the studio tomorrow. I'll be back in the studio every day this week. Really excited about that. Can't wait to be home for a while, spend some time with the family, and spend time with the BitSquad. So drop those comments down below. Don't forget to check out bitboycrypto.com/deals. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.